Hello Booksties and welcome to yet another wrap-up video. For some reason, these seem to be very popular with you guys. They are my most watched videos. I guess here we go again. Let me just start off by saying September was a fantastic reading month. If you, like me, have been suffering from the biggest reading slump of your life, then you know when I tell you it felt freaking amazing to finally get back on track, enjoy what I'm reading, get excited about picking up another book. I actually ended up reading 9 books this month. It would have been 10, except unfortunately the book I'm currently reading did not end up making the cut. I just have like a little bit left, so that's gonna have to be part of my October wrap-up. But for now, let me tell you about the 9 books I read in the month of September. Okay, as we have established so far, I cannot summarize a book to save my life. So I went ahead and I wrote my thoughts down on my notes app, and I have my iPad right in front of me. So if you see me periodically looking this way, it's because I have my iPad propped up on a few books and some random perfume boxes. So I make sure I don't forget any details that I've been dying to share with you guys, because let me tell you, I have a lot of thoughts about the books that I've read so far. So I kicked off the month of September with 2 books, the first being Ninth House and Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. Both of them were a definite 5 stars for me. I got so engrossed in this world. Book 3 cannot release fast enough. And unfortunately, when I checked Goodreads, it should release sometime 2026. We don't know. These books had everything I adore: a gorgeously gothic university setting and secret societies, dreary atmosphere, as well as a lot of mystery and suspense. So if you like gothic dark academia vibes, but you also enjoy the adrenaline rush that you get from reading thrillers or mysteries, then I would highly recommend you try out these books if you haven't already. Something I also appreciated was that our female main character was strong without being arrogant, and she was very lovable and relatable. I also wasn't expecting the element of found family. The found family in these books was just chef's kiss. I also want to say I appreciated how the books wrapped up. There weren't any frustrating cliffhangers. Instead, the author left just enough threads open to let us know that there is another book coming. Her writing style is very lyrical and poetic, which is something I highly appreciate. For me, writing is on top when it comes to rating a book. After that, it's plot and characters. If the writing style moves me, I don't care if the plot is mediocre or if the characters are not very likable, it's gonna most likely be a 5-star for me. Speaking of amazing writing styles, I wrote down some of her quotes. Let me read them to you. The first one says, "Make me a list of who hurt you, Galaxy Stern." Also, can we take a moment to appreciate what a fantabulous name Galaxy Stern is? I mean, damn. The next one says, "You never stop being a child as long as you have a mother to go to." And the last one, "Death is the most solitary of journeys." So yeah, this duology completely swept me away. It's the perfect blend of atmosphere, mystery, and character depth. Next, I read The 13th Child by Aaron Craig. This one I rated 4 stars. I am so glad I gave this author another chance. If you watch my previous videos, you would know that I struggled with her other 2 books, so this was a very pleasant surprise. I found it to be beautifully gothic and had a very nice Victorian atmosphere. Reading this book felt like stepping into a dark fairy tale. And now listen, while the story was a bit predictable, I did enjoy her writing nonetheless, because you just kind of get lost in this world that the author comes up with. and her attention to detail is unmatched. Her writing was cozy, atmospheric, and just the right amount of eerie, and I feel like this book specifically would be perfect for spooky season, like around Halloween time. I wish I saved it for October, but oh, and I didn't mention that this is a YA fantasy. Then I picked up A Man Called Ove. Now, when I was talking about this book in my September TBR video, I wasn't sure how to pronounce his name because it's spelled OVE. So I figured, like, if I'm gonna say it in English, it's gonna be Ove, but it just didn't sound right because the author is, I forgot. Wait, Frederick Buckman is from... Okay, I'm so sorry. I totally forgot where he's from. But after doing an immersive read for this book, basically means I listened to the audio while also reading along with it. I discovered that the correct pronunciation of our main character's name is not Ove and it's not Ove, it's actually Uwe. A Man Called Ove by Frederick Buckman. It definitely got a 5 stars. This is my second book by this author. This piece of literary fiction completely stole my heart. The story was touching, heartfelt, and deeply human. I absolutely love Frederick's narration style. The way he slowly pieces everything together, weaving humor into sadness, and creating a story that is both tragic and uplifting. I actually noticed he did that in the other book that I read by him, which is called My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry. I hope I got it right. But that one was also very, very touching and unforgettable. And to be honest, it's remarkable how he gets us to care about this very grumpy and somewhat racist old man who's literally just words on paper. Like, he's not even real. And this author will make you care. He will make you care so much. Something I love about his books is it's not just about the main character. He kind of delves into the way we need each other as humanity and as a society, and how each person has an important role, whether it is a child, an adult, an elderly person. Everybody has an important role they play in each other's lives. So yeah, basically this one was a very sad but lovely, unforgettable book. It was realistic and full of reflections on human nature. Then I read You Were There Too. Now, this was a book, I can't remember where I saw it. I think Amazon recommended it to me or Goodreads like ages ago. I finally bought the book on Kindle. I was too scared to read it. After reading somebody's comment about what it's actually about, it was kind of spoilerish, and then I kind of got cold feet. But since I was trying to tackle my physical and Kindle TBR last month, I decided, you know what? It's time. Girl, you need to grow up and face your demons of your past decisions. And here we are. First, let me tell you my rating and then I will explain. So I gave this one 3 stars. The writing style was actually very engaging and I found myself very invested in the story as well as the multiple characters. We sort of get a love triangle of sorts. It's kind of unconventional. If you read the synopsis, you will know what I'm talking about. But somehow the author managed to get us, not us, okay, me. It was just me reading the book. Hello. She got me to care about each and every single one of these characters. Like, it was crazy. I was rooting for everybody. And as you know, if it's a love triangle, you can't really be rooting for more than 2 people. And this brings me to my next point. I wanted more from the ending. I expected more. I did not expect this much sadness, to be honest, but I also expected more closure and a tidier conclusion. I don't think every book needs an epilogue, but this one is definitely a story that could have benefited from an epilogue. Now, the next book I'm going to tell you about is a book that has been with me for a few months. It is a self-development book. It's called Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. You would have seen me recommend it in my self-help books that actually help video. I think I started it sometime in June. I'm not one to just sit down and binge a self-development book. I like to take my time and really absorb and learn and benefit from the information. I finally finished it in September, and that is why I'm mentioning it in this video. Every book I have read by him has been a 5-star for me. I'm not gonna go too much into depth about this one because I know most people who watch reading wrap-ups are not gonna be interested in this genre. Let me just point out that this is a book I would recommend you read after breaking the habit of being yourself. And if you are someone who is familiar with his work and also watch his YouTube videos or interviews and podcasts, then I feel this book would really resonate with you. It is his most recent book, so therefore all the information is more up to date. I read The Mill on the Floss in August, which is a classic by George Eliot. She was an author in the early 1800s. Even though her books do have a touch of romance in them, they're not like your typical classics by Emily Bronte or Anne and Charlotte, her other sisters. Her books focus more on like society and the way there were different classes back in the day and how that affects human nature and human behavior, which I personally find extremely interesting. Learning about the way human beings behave as a society just scratches some kind of itch. No, that's not it. Tickles my fancy. That's not it either. I just like it, okay? Basically. So anyways, even though The Mill on the Floss was a 5-star read for me, this one was a 4-star, which is still an amazing rating, but I just have a few notes. Also, let me point out, this book was like over 1,000 pages long, so it took me a hot minute to get through, and that's why I did an immersive read for this one to help me along. But I found some parts of the book had too much focus, unnecessary details, stuff like that, while other parts of the book I wished she would have expanded on more. But all in all, it was a very, very fun experience. All right, the next book was one I actually DNF'd last year. It's called The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. I don't know how to pronounce the author's name, so I'll just put it right here. I DNF'd this book early on, okay? It's just, I don't know, I thought I might not have been in the mood, so I decided to pick it up this time and give it another try. Unfortunately, this book was still not for me. I did finish it, but I gave it 3 stars. On the positive side, the story was very whimsical and heartwarming and sweet. However, it lacked depth and was very predictable. The story itself felt more suitable for a much, much younger audience, like think Harry Potter, except the writing would have very adult language in it, which also kind of clashed with the whole atmosphere she was trying to pull off. The romance felt a little forced, and there was one random spicy scene which did not match the rest of the vibe at all. So it really put me off, if I'm being completely honest. Overall, I would recommend you read this book for vibes only. Don't look too closely at the plot. Finally, I read Good Bad Girl by Alice Feeney. This one was a thriller and I gave it 5 stars. Now, you could argue and say it could be brought down to a 4.5, but what the hey, as my kids say. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a solid 5, purely for the enjoyment and the experience. I could not put this book down, you guys. Oh, and I read it on my Kindle, by the way. I absolutely devoured it. I was flying through these chapters like crazy. And the beautiful thing is each chapter ended in a way that kept you needing more. Like you just had to find out more. You know the saying where it says just one more chapter? I feel it really applies to this book. Now, one thing I need to say though is some of the plot twists were predictable. Now, I don't know if it's because I have read a lot of thrillers and mysteries, but I was able to kind of figure out what was going to happen. It does not mean it made me enjoy the book any less. Like I said, it was very entertaining. As for the book I am currently reading, I'm gonna take a risk and give you a rating now, even though I have not finished it yet. Okay, so here's the deal. I predict I'm gonna be giving The Mist Thief 4 stars. After the Ever King and the Ever Queen, the Mist Thief follows a different set of characters. Now, that being said, I would still recommend you read the first books before reading this one, just to give you a little bit of context regarding the world building and everything that is going on. Otherwise, you might find it a bit confusing. I would consider this to be a romantasy, emphasis on the romance, not so much the fantasy. Obviously, it is still a fantasy book. It's like reading a romance book that is set in a fantastical world. There isn't much plot happening, but the romance is exquisite. I did not mention the name of the author. I am sorry. It is L.J. Andrews. She has a knack for writing romance and making you feel all the feelings. I really love how much depth and emotion goes into her characters. But as I said, if you are looking for some kind of high stakes, plot twisty, action-packed fantasy book, then this might not be the one. The sun is starting to go down, which means I am losing daylight. Now, if you're wondering about my October TBR, I will not be mentioning one. And the reason is I got a belated birthday gift from my parents, which is a whole bunch of new books. I will be filming a video on that, so stay tuned. I am so freaking proud of myself sticking to my TBR and actually finishing it before dipping into all the new ones that I received. Let me know in the comments down below what books you're excited to read this spooky season, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!